Okay, so my story has to deal with drugs and how I almost went to jail for a very, very, very long time. Okay, so I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama. I know someone else also from Birmingham, Alabama. Anyway, when I was younger and my brain wasn't fully formed, I lived with a guy and a whole bunch of other people, and we used to do a lot of drugs. Now, when I say we used to do a lot of drugs, mostly acid, and smoke a lot of pot, and occasionally take whatever pill someone handed me, because I was very devil may care back then. Now I will read an entire ingredients list on the back of some sinus medication to make sure it doesn't interact with my antidepressants. So, right? So, but back in the day, back when I was like 19, 20, I was like, okay, blah. And whatever happened, happened. But anyway, my boyfriend and I went to get drugs for everybody in the house. So that was a lot of drugs. It was like, we're talking like a sheet of acid. And I don't know how much pot, probably like a pound of pot. I don't know how to measure pot. I do smoke it a lot, but don't ask me, I don't have scales. But anyway, so we get the stuff, and we're on our way back to the house. And in Birmingham, on Birmingham Red Mountain, it's big mountains, famous in downtown Birmingham, and they have these lights up on these long things that are like radio lights. Okay, you know what I'm talking about? It's like the lights flash, and so the planes won't hit into them or whatever. So my boyfriend John at the time is like, okay, we had just done our hit of acid. And anybody, I don't know if you've ever done acid or anything. Okay, one little thing. You take it and it doesn't hit you right away, but then about 30, 45 minutes later, you're like, oh yes. The walls are melting. It's go time. So he gets this idea. He's like, let's drive up on that hill and go hang out under those lights. And I am not a very good heights person. And so I was like, how about we don't do that at all? But he's like, no, it'd be really, really cool. And so we're driving up this hill, this big mountain, and on our way up the hill, a cop car is coming down, and I was like, okay, that's a really bad sign. And he's like, oh, it's fine, they're just up here, whatever. So we get up there, we're right underneath the lights, and he's like, look at it, you can see all of Birmingham, isn't it beautiful? And I'm in the car in the fetal position, going, I'm not getting out of the car, I'm not getting out of the car. And my dose had just started. So we're driving back down the hill because he's finally like, okay, let's go. And then we see some new lights. These are from the cop car that we had passed. And I gotta tell the rest really quick, but so anyway, and the cop car is blocking our path. So we have no choice but to let this cop come over. And he knocks on the window, and John rolls down, and he's like, I need you to step out of the car. So he takes John, who has in his groin like a pound of pot and a sheet of acid, and me sitting in my car in the passenger seat just watching the lights on the police car go. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna call my grandmother, be like, oh, you're not gonna like this. I'm in jail forever for the rest of my life. And so anyway, very long story short, because I have 30 seconds left. We did not go to jail that night. It felt like it was 10,000 years that I sat and watched the police lights swirl around while I planned my life in a penitentiary. John walks back And he gets in the car and he goes, we're fine. And he knew he was fine as soon as he got in the car, because they just wanted to check his priors, and they said some shady shit had been going down. So they just wanted to check it all out. But he was like telepathically trying to send that message to me, because the whole time he's dosing, going, she's about to fucking lose her shit. Anyway, but we got off scot-free, and that's the end of my story.